Hello, we'll continue talking about a let block in Clojure and in other Lisps maybe. In previous nail we described that we can implement a so-called naive-let macro which can provide local bindings with independent calculated variables with independent values. But it's a strong limitation, although, as I said, Scheme language has built in this macro, but it's strongly limited. And all of us likes regular Clojure let, where we can, in below bindings, rely on above binded values. So it's not hard to implement this macro, maybe even easier than implementation of independent bindings, naive-let. It's 3 lines of code, and let's see how it works. Let's evaluate it. Call it mylet. And again, let's expand this expression form. It expands in 2 nested lambdas, and the external lambda is called on argument sign of x and has a formal variable called a, and then internal lambda can rely on value of a and also is called on real value of increment of a and has its formal variable b. Yes, and then we have also internal lambda with variable c and so on and so forth. So here we have not 2, maybe 3 nested lambdas, because we have 3 local bindings here. And yes, it also works. Let me evaluate this expression. Yep, first result, second result, and 42 as bindings for C. Everything works fine. And here actually is that real good old let which we have in Clojure, maybe with some limitations that it cannot provide destructuring purposes, but all other things looks like it works nice. It has no overload by some cases. I mean, 3 nested lambdas are also calculates fast, and there were no overhead on its creation and its calculation in runtime. And yes, here in this brackets we have our little imperative world, so-called, and we can do some quasi mutations here, or we can do side effects here and then return value. So let's look how it expands. We have a bunch of nested lambdas, and the first lambda, external lambda, is called on argument a, which is have a value sign of x, and the nested lambda also has formal parameter a, and it masked the external parameter, a parameter of wrapped lambda. So then in nested forms we will rely on this a value, and in fact this a value is triple value of a. So it's traversing our imperative constructions into pure functional world. Each lambda has its own context, internal context, and we can mask the variables of external context without any exceptions, yes, but it may look like a mutation. Here we mutate before we had a one value, and here we have a another value. But in real life, it's not a mutation, it's still immutable world, but it's an emulation of mutation. Then, more interesting, we have so-called blank variable, and a result of it is printing value of a, and we do not interested in this result, and actually can have any variable name here, but we prefer dash. Lodash, and here is the same function from variable Lodash and called on printing value. The result of it is actually nil, but side effect will perform, and we will have a printed value here. So let's evaluate this. Yeah, all the printings, the first print here, the print on ABEBEB, and their returned result. So looks like, yes, like it works. And this macro, our own custom macro, if we forget for a while about destructuring, it works fine, and we still do not have to have LED as a core block in Clojure core as a special form. We can fully emulate it with our lambdas. So that's up for current nail. In next nail we will improve and combine LED with cond macro and create, from my point of view, a custom usable macro which is still not present in standard Clojure library. See you.